Hey, welcome back to episode 4 of Behind the Horror with Brown Man Horror. I'm JC, and this is
RL.
And here we are. We're with the director and stars of Agramon's Gate, Mr. Harley Wallen.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Here's
Hey.
Miss Kaiti Wallen.
Hi, guys.
And our bit of a monster in this film, Jan Birch.
Hey, nice to see you all.
Hey.
Awesome. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Harley, Kaiti, for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Thanks for
we're
having
gonna
us, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Pleasure's all ours. First and foremost, we want to start with Mr. Harley. Agramon's Gate. Let's see. What can I say about this?
It was a bit of a whirlwind.
A bit of a whirlwind.
It started off, I think the funny part about it is I love the whole boyfriend not believing. We don't want to give too much away. Boyfriend not believing. And then he quickly becomes a believer. It's about 6 minutes in, and he's totally engulfed in himself.
I'm gonna say that, and then I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna go straight from the hip here.
Yeah.
As far as the first thought I had in mind when I sat down at this table to conduct this interview.
Mhm.
The first thing that went through my head that I wanted to say was, I for sure thought when Jan appeared on film, it was Kevin Sorbo.
Oh, wow.
And I know it sounds
Right.
because he's doing a lot of somewhat religious films here recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
thought, well, this would fall in line with him. And I had looked up Jan, and some of his IMB stuff does not look like him.
It doesn't look like him, especially in the film, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, it threw me off as well.
And I thought, here comes Hercules.
Right, exactly.
And he's like,
Let your hair down. You're
yeah,
good.
let your
Like,
hair down,
it was
no muscles.
something.
I mean, here we are as a demon,
It was crazy.
So that was my first thing that I thought of. I'm sure you guys spent blood, sweat, and tears just to make me think that. So, Mr. Harley, we'd like to kick it off with you. Tell us who you are, how Agramon's Gate came to be.
Well, I'm Harley Wallen. I am an actor who turned filmmaker. And one of the really things that I love horror films, but I really procrastinated making my first horror film because I know how the horror audience is. They love the stuff they love, but they are hard on something when it's not up to par. So I wanted to make sure that by the time I got in, that I felt that I would have a strong product to show. And my very first attempt at horror, I wanted to give a nod to some of my earliest influences. I wanted the Hitchcocks and the Cravens and the Stephen Kings. I wanted to hat off to them. Some of my very first impressions would be, The Exorcist and stuff like that, where I really fell in love with horror. So with my first horror film, I wanted to start by taking my hat off to all of them. And that was my attempt with Agramon's Gate.
It definitely came through, I would say, don't you?
Yeah, I think one of the things that stood out to me the most was typically when you have like that ghost-like presence, like the father was in this movie. I think a lot of times they use so many different techniques to show the ghostly figure of a person. I think with Jan and this one, like one of the things that stood out to me the most is like you could really feel his presence.
Jan's
more
face
because
was
it was like, dude, when he was
piercing.
in the mirror, when he was in the mirror in the bathroom talking to the son, I was completely freaked out. First off, I'm like thinking of my dad and like, oh boy, like this is insane, right? And
Jan's doing it right now. He's scaring me to death.
Right. He has my dad's haircut. Okay, so
He
it's like
is
I
the
don't know what to do
Stairmaster.
with myself. Right, exactly. Quit staring at me. All right. But no, I mean, I think that was one of the things that stood out to me the most is that, they put such a realistic feel behind it. It was really cool because it was like, it just kind of jumped off to you. It wasn't that ghostly, like, oh, this is creepy. He's standing beside me. No, this is a real dude standing right here like giving you
Yeah.
the effect. And so I think you did a great job at, like you said, tipping your hat. I think it really jumped off the page as far as I was concerned in watching the film.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like
Thank
building
you.
up some of that suspense, I mean, our first look at Jan,
Mhm.
Carter's character in the film,
Yeah.
was as his son was driving down the road, he
Yeah.
spots him and he like takes off in pursuit,
Yeah.
follows him down all these dark corridors and stuff like this. You build up all this suspense,
Yeah.
and then at the end, of course, nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
We got as always, I have a bunch of bullet points
Okay. Cool.
that we'll go over.
Yeah. Yeah.
But before we get too deep, we want to say hello to the lovely Miss Kaiti Wallen, the one sitting next to you.
Yep.
Now, how do you guys know each other?
Kind of married. Yeah.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jan officiated.
Right.
Right. Could you
Okay.
see
Yes,
him in like
yes,
the
I
all
did for
white
sure.
tux?
All white. Jan in all
Jan
white.
in all white tux.
I don't think
Going-
that ever happened.
Oh, it's great.
That's-
It's fantastic.
Gotcha. Yeah, Katie, give us a little background on how you got started and how you got affiliated with this particular film.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so I have a sister who lives out in California, and she was going to film school out there. But we living in Detroit, she would travel here for the summer and work on her projects that she was working on for the year in film school. So as a sister, I was the one that piggybacked, and really she put me under her wing, and I was able to watch from every angle and the process and how you make a short film, right? At this time, I was probably 13 years old. I liked it, but I didn't really think of it as a career path. I thought it was great. But then I got into modeling and stuff. And then by the time that I was 21, I was bartending at the Emerald Ballroom. And this guy showed up.
Okay.
We were actually at a fashion show event.
In full Zeb makeup.
Right.
Yeah, big time.
Right.
No.
That's how you get the girls.
So, at the time I was working at the Emerald Ballroom, the Emerald Theater in Mount Clemens, and there was an event going on. It was a modeling event. It was called Rock the Runway. It's a Detroit-based event where they donate, and it's a charity event, right? It's great. Well, he was modeling in it, and he came to my bar, and he just chatted and hit it off. And
You believe that, right? I'm the model and she's the bartender.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying a
I'm not
single
making
word
this shit
right
up.
now.
I'm being
But it
quiet.
was great.
I'm
It
being
was
very
great.
quiet.
Jan's calling bullshit already.
I know.
Okay.
So no, we hit it off pretty well. I mean, we became best friends, and at the time, it was the film incentives had just been taken out of Michigan, and I'm an artist. I knew I love creative stuff, So he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm an actor." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Like my sister is all into that stuff, so like it'd be cool to get into that, And then I kind of just found my passion in it from him jumping back into it. So that's that.
Yeah.
Well,
We
fantastic.
make
It
up
was-
a new story every time.
Right.
I'm just
Right.
kidding.
I watched the last interview, and she said that she was a stewardess.
Right.
And he was a pilot. And like,
She met Jan in Israel.
right.
I
Look,
flew the
there's
plane.
so
I
much
was
going
a pilot.
on here. Like, I don't know who to believe. It's like Quantum Leap. You know
Quantum
what I mean?
Leap. It's like one of those Whovians.
Yeah,
This is Inception 2.
exactly. Where's Leo?
Right. Well, it was great seeing you in the film. Good chemistry between you and the lead. I thought that, very believable. I thought that you showed true concern for his well-being
For a little while.
for a little while. I think.
For a
I
little
think.
while.
And then you talked mad shit to his mom.
Yes.
So, like,
We'll get to that in a
okay,
sec.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Jan
like,
is piercing me with his eyeballs right now.
God,
We'll get to him.
God, calm down, okay, buddy? Like, we didn't do anything, okay? It's
So-
their fault.
Next up, Jan Birch. Who the hell is Jan Birch? Tell us who Jan Birch is.
Well, I'm a Swedish actor originally. I did some acting in Sweden and came over here, very early as a 22-year-old. I moved to LA. Done quite a lot of things since. My biggest horror thing was I played a stairmaster in People on the Stairs for God bless him, the great Wes Craven.
Yes, sir.
What?
Yeah.
Dude,
And,
I IMDb'd Jan Birch first off, just so everyone knows. And Jan Birch has played every single role known to man. There.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at that.
So you're telling me Jan Birch was in People Under the Stairs?
Yes.
He is the Stairmaster.
He's
Yeah.
the Stairmaster.
I'm on the back.
We're gonna
cover.
fact check that, Jan, because I don't see your name on the back of this DVD. Okay.
His name is small and fine print.
No, so listen. I mean, here's the thing. I really hate IMDb. Okay, for one, because I get so wrapped up in it because as soon as I type in somebody's name, the 45 things they've ever done, like Jan bought Skittles for the director.
And then it has like
film.
the weird trivia
Jan
parts.
was four years old. He bought Skittles for a guy, brought him a water, and now he's
An actor.
Yeah, he's an actor, right? So there's like 100 different things going on there. But I showed my kids, so Jan, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like I was looking through your IMDb, and there were some voiceover roles in some, God, what was the movie? It was a cartoon. It was an animated film. Were you
yeah.
How to Train a Dragon?
No, I cannot even recall it.
God, what was the name of?
Was it How to Train Your Dragon?
No, it was not.
God, anyway,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
something. I
We'll
showed my
check that
kids, and they're like, "You're going to talk to him today?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for real." Like,
We showed them a picture of you as of right now, and they're going to be spending the night in his bed for the next 6 months.
yeah, they're like, he keeps
Now,
staring at me, Dad, when I close my eyes. Like, it's freaking them out, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
No, on another note, you brought up Kevin Sorbo and Hercules, which is funny. You know, 1991, I was actually up for that role with Kevin. We were sitting in the waiting room together, waiting to get in to meet the director. It was the last 5 of us, and
Wow.
you know, I had 20% chance, and obviously I did not get it. But it was fun that you brought that up. I'm like, oh, I remember that freaking day.
He's
What
like, he literally just like he hasn't taken a drink in 20 years, and now that you've brought that up, he's going straight to the vodka after
The
this.
damn brown
Like,
mint horror.
brown mint horror is the worst damn anything. Like, I'm
That's
looking
all.
you up on here, Jan. 43 IMDb hits for one. You were in an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine,
Yes,
Frank TV,
yes,
Charmed,
yes,
Bless the Child.
yes.
Yeah, I love that one.
Like, you were on Young and the Restless.
Yes, I
I'm
was.
sorry, Jan. I'm sorry.
No, that's
Oh my
horror.
God, I'm crying a little bit for you right now. I'm not
So,
gonna hold it against you. First off, look right here.
Slumber Party Massacre 3.
Yes.
I love you
Wait,
so
Ron-
much right now, Jan.
Jan, I'm not, because we're speaking in front of Harley and Katie here, I'm not saying there may just be a full-on Jan fest. After this,
Jan 2021, look out for it. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like,
I
we're
mean, do you want these eyes piercing you?
yeah, right, exactly like him on the cover with like laser beams.
Right.
Like he sucked me right in.
Okay, we'll
All
get
right,
off.
sorry.
We'll get off,
Sorry,
Jan.
Jan.
It's
Sorry.
just, this is not the Jan
No,
show.
I enjoy it. Don't worry. Just go on.
We're just a couple dudes from the country, so we're excited. Here we go. Let's do.
6
It's
degrees
trivia
to Kevin
time, boss.
Sorbo.
I literally thought that like 10 minutes ago. Whenever I made the Kevin Sorbo
Yeah.
like thing,
Yeah.
and then you start talking about IMDb, I literally thought the 7 degrees of
Oh, yeah.
Jan.
Oh my God. We're new film for us.
Right. Let's now that we've done our introductions,
Yeah.
couple things we want to do. First and foremost, we want to thank the great Shari over at Samera Entertainment
Absolutely.
for getting us all
It's
hooked up
awesome.
here.
Yep.
We want to thank Midnight Releasing and their impact that they're trying to have with indie horror and indie filmmaking.
Yes.
We have been partnered up with them. She's been kind enough to hook us up with episode 4 now.
Four
Episode
times.
4
Four times.
of Behind the Horror with Brown Mint Horror.
Yep.
From there, thank you, Shari. Now we're going to move into, if you've seen any of our previous videos, we're going to move into the trivia round where everyone gets to test their knowledge.
So here's the thing. I heard earlier Harley say, and one thing that just stood out to me was how big of a horror movie fan Harley is.
How big of a horror fan is he?
It's a great question.
We're going to find out.
We're about to find out.
Well, let's find out.
So, Harley, since you put said own foot in said mouth, I am going to make you the first person that answers a question today.
All right.
It's not going to be an easy one, man. I'm going to pull from this deck. This deck has some of the hardest horror movie questions I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Oh, man.
So we're going to deep dive in here. Jesse, go ahead and pick one for us. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I actually don't know. All right. So, oh, wow. Yep, I'm ready. All right. Harley, for 2 points.
All right.
In Oculus 2014, what does Kaylee mistakenly believe she is bitten into when she bites into an apple?
God, I think that's a heart, but I don't remember.
Harley, I'm going to say...
Are any light bulbs going off, Harley?
No, I honestly don't even think I watched this one. So a light bulb?
It was a light bulb.
bulb.
Good job, Harley. We knew you were going to listen to JC.
All right, 2 points for Harley. Awesome. We're going to move on to Katie.
I'll
All
take
right, Katie. Katie, how well would you say that you know horror films?
What?
This is her in horror films.
Oh, well, this should be interesting, man.
She could barely watch Agramon's Gate that she was in.
All right, JC.
Katie, for 10,000 points.
All right, for 10,000 points.
Points.
A lot.
Okay, this is a good one. So, Katie, if you're like my wife and many other women in America, big Josh Hartnett fans.
Ooh.
So I've got a nice Josh Hartnett question for you. Oh, crap. I hope I didn't just answer it for it. Maybe not. All right. 30 Days of Night in 2007 is set in what American state? 30 Days of Night.
I'm just going to take a guess because I've never seen that movie.
No, the title, 30 Days of Night. So wherever it is, it's dark for 30 days straight. So
I'd say like what, Alaska?
Got
Ding,
it.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
For 10,000 points. Wow.
Yes.
10,000 points.
She really
got
took the lead on you there,
slight
Harley.
lead over
Yes.
Harley.
Yes,
Slightly
10,000 to 2.
Okay.
All right, Jan, for 10,001 points right here,
Okay.
Jan. And the only reason I said that is because I'm scared of Jan.
Jan's going to win regardless because we don't want Jan coming into our dreams, okay?
Yeah, right. Like, don't hug him when you're coming out of your nightmare, okay? That's all I'm going to say. All right.
All right, Jan, you win already, but we're going to go ahead and do the question, okay?
All right. Are you
All right.
ready? So, The Ring, 2002, is a remake of a film from what country? China?
Japan.
My man,
Ringu.
Japan.
Better know that one.
Jan.
Ringu from Japan.
And just so you know, JC's wife answered from upstairs, so you probably heard that, but it's fine. You still won because I'm
You
terrified
don't have
of
a
you.
microphone.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
your question.
Okay,
Get back in your cage.
let's do this.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely,
All right.
Harley.
Yeah.
It's awesome that 30 Days of Night was one of the questions, because we are in pre-production of a film called Beneath Us All, where Jan is playing a vampire, and it's going to be the first scary-ass vampire movie since 30 Days of Night.
Jan playing a vampire.
I
you
never
excited
saw
about
that coming.
I cannot see that.
Right. Like,
It's Vlad the Impaler.
I
over
know
here.
it's
right.
It's-
I'm
it's a bit
already
far-fetched,
I'm so
right?
terrified.
It's a far stretch for me. I don't know how to do it, really.
Is this
Yeah.
is this going to be a comedy?
yeah, for sure.
Jan in Brooklyn.
Right. I'm terrified already. So Jan with the win. Jan, just whatever you want as a grand prize, just let us know. Shoot us a text. We'll send it over because we're terrified of you. So it's fine.
If you're Jan, real quick question. Favorite Swedish guitar player? Go.
Oh,
Oh my God. Did you just throw that out there?
that is.
If it's anybody other than Yngve Johan Malmsteen,
Oh, he's a beast.
He's a beast. He's a beast. But I like. Oh shit! I can't even remember his name.
Jan has been hitting the Swedish vodka since about 3:00 this afternoon. He's already sliced his finger off.
Oh, no.
Earlier, he put his hand over the camera. All I saw was white. I was like, "Is he okay?"
Jan's getting into character for that vampire film.
He already bit his own fingers off.
Yes. Okay.
All right, back to the film.
Thank you for our trivia round.
Yep, guys, that was great. So Agramon's Gate. So for me, I guess one of my lead questions would be is that, when recruiting for our seancer of all seancers,
the medium of the mediumist.
Yep, she has her own 1-800 number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
she's seductive.
It was terrifying. I was quite terrified. So, how did you guys, how did you recruit for the film? How did you end up with the characters that you ended up with? Obviously, Kaiti, Jan, we know how y'all ended up in the film. Kaiti beat him over the head. Jan terrified him to death. That's how you ended up with those two.
Jan walked on set and said, "I'm in this film."
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, this is my
yeah." He cast himself.
Look, like you get the box and it has like Harley's name marked out as director. It just says Jan on the back. And you're like, okay, well, I mean,
we're having listen.
This is too much. All right. So Harley, how did you end up with the other cast? Like, what did you guys do as far as recruiting? Did you know the folks already? I know when I was looking back through the well-hated IMDb, I did notice obviously some characters overlaid in some of your other films.
Yeah.
Especially one of the two sisters in the film, the sisters that had the father and mother that got killed.
Yeah.
I noticed one of those was in your film quite a bit in some of your films. And so how did you, end up with the circle of people that you ended up with?
So we always do a pretty extensive casting call, but we have a small circle of people that we produce together. So essentially what we did was because, talented people want to work with talented people. And so you start kind of grouping up and you start kind of having a synergy towards a common goal. So that's why a lot of people will become repeat offenders because they're just the peak of whatever it is that they do. And I am in Michigan and we shoot all of our films in Michigan so far. So to cast around here and find the best possible without breaking the bank on hotel rates for everybody involved. You have to find the best of the best in your area. Mm-hmm. So that's why there will be always some flux because everybody doesn't fit every role. But in this case, I really loved what we did with the characters because we had me and Aphrodite. Aphrodite played the medium.
Yeah.
We had played across from each other in Betrayed and in Bennett's Song. And we just wanted to make something fresh. Mm-hmm. And we had a whole backstory for what happened to my character that could have been a whole nother movie. So when we developed these characters, we really wanted to root them somewhere. So we made hers Cajun and mine a French Canadian so that we would have those tie-ins from some old place that had these things happening to them. And then Chris was really interesting because Chris, who plays Katie's husband in the film, he is a really, really strong actor. Like he is actually, I'll be honest and say we are blessed that he has not made it yet because he is at the level that he could pop at any minute.
Yeah.
And I won't be able to afford him anymore. So I'm really happy that he was really just like incredibly awesome at doing this role because the role is tricky because you have to let people in enough that they care about you, but you have to keep them at bay enough that they wonder about your mystery.
Yep.
And that's that tricky thing to walk as an actor. And I think he absolutely killed it. And then our, so to speak, sidekick couple, I love them because they are just that. They are awesome sidekicks. They just carry that all the way throughout the movie perfectly.
They reminded me of the Tina and Rod from Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Because
Dude,
I on it.
But
That's
so
awesome.
question is he a cop? Is
No.
the guy? So okay, so he reaches in the box and gets the gun
Yeah, in the safe.
Out of the kitchen.
out
Yeah.
of the kitchen, and I'm like, I missed the part. I think I heard him say that he had gotten a promotion at work, or he was.
And then automatically hears the noise.
Yep.
Grabs the gun.
Then he grabs the gun out, and I'm like, wow, okay. I thought he was kind of a punk at the beginning, but now I'm
he could
like,
just be a Tennessean.
yeah, you know how we are about our guns. Got to have a damn gun in every box laying around, like our kids play with guns. So it's like but yeah, I mean, definitely Tina and Rod.
Yeah.
And I say that. Here's the thing. I say that because there were glimpses whenever Kaiti was chewing out the mother in the hospital room.
That was terrifying, by the way.
It reminded me.
One of
love
my
that
favorite
scene.
scenes.
It's
One of
my
my
I'm pretty
favorite
sure
scenes.
that my
Well,
wife,
it was my
my
favorite.
wife has done that to me at least 100
It was my favorite Kaiti scene because, and to me, I saw glimpses of Heather Langenkamp's character of Nancy in that.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
she was so outraged, and like, I love the part where
She got her balls. She took
Right.
ownership.
she amplified. I thought it was funny because the nurse character says, "Okay, hey, if you continue, we're gonna have to kick you out of here or whatever," and she tunes up about another 20 plus. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh shit,
It's like Nancy in Nightmare. Screw
kiss
your
me.
Yeah.
guts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Screw your hall pass. Here we go. You know?
Yeah.
Like terrifying. So yeah, I think that, you know, the lead was very good. I think you're right. I mean, he's definitely one of those characters that I could see playing in 100 different films.
Yeah.
For sure. The sisters, that they stood out to me, I thought was very funny because one of the sisters, the sister that, oh my God, what was her name? Hold on. I got it right here. I took notes as well. Angelina Kama.
Yeah.
First off, I feel like I've seen her in something else. I did watch some of the Betrayed movie
Yeah.
as well. But I feel like I've seen her in something else, and I don't know what it is.
She's another one that she's got that face that we're going to see her in more and more stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Most definitely. Most
Like
definitely.
the part where you guys were at the Kaiti, I'm talking to you, the coffee shop, I guess, where you guys were hashing out what happened at the seance the night before.
Oh, that's Jessica.
That's with Jessica,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm talking about Jessica.
Yep.
You're talking about the sister. Sorry.
Mhm.
Jessica, phenomenal as well. You guys had great chemistry. She was, you know, she's definitely someone that I see going to be in some more stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Just a lot of different people there. I thought, you know, especially because it's one movie, so you don't see them for a lot of time. Especially with the backstory that went on with Jan's character, the dad, the mom, Kaiti. You were part of that, and then even your character Harley, where we just backfed a lot of it. I think one of the first things that I said to JC after I watched it was, you know, where's part 2? Because like, it left me hanging so hard. Like I was just like, oh shit, like I just got it right now at 1 hour and 50 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jan's character's in there, and it's amplifying, it's starting to build. And then the damn girl from Ju-on showed up, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
So we're not trying to spoil it, but
I'm sorry.
The demon reveal at the end, when we finally see what the demon Agramon looks like, which, remember, if Baal is the right hand,
right,
Agramon is the left, and the devil's left-handed. Favorite freaking line in the movie.
Yes. And the crazy part was, is I called him. We usually try to watch the films, you know, twice. And a lot of times we'll watch them the night before, just so we're like, keeping our minds wrapped around it. I watched this shit on vacation, okay, like 5 days ago, and I could not get it out of my head. Like
I watched it again today.
I literally called him and I said, dude, where is part 2? Like, what do I got to do to get a part 2 around here?
You know what? We
Who
are
does Jan-
seriously talking about it. since I don't know what happened to this movie. When it came out on VOD, it had a really nice burn, but it faded really quickly. And now it's made it out to AVOD, so it's on Tubi and Vudu and these places, and all of a sudden it's jumping off the pages, and everybody's watching it. I saw a couple of the VOD sites that are running it right now have 500,000 views on it already. It's like insane.
Well, the title for one,
Agramon's Gate,
obviously
the trailer was great.
The trailer was good. The cover really like drew me in as far as that goes.
And
which cover did you see? Because they've used three different covers.
So the one that we got was the one that is actually on IMDb.
The greenish one?
The
green one where it has all four main characters and then Agramon at the bottom. We got that as the thumbnail, obviously, for the film.
That was our screener version.
But Jan's character, I mean, even like for me and the mother too, man, it was just like, I don't know, like I got a lot of the backstory in the film, so I was like super pumped. And then we got to the end and I'm like, dude, I got to see part 2.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I picture the sequel opening up with Aphrodite's character with Zeb. We just like Halloween 2, okay? We're going to open up right from the end of the first one.
That's
Okay?
what I'm saying. Like I would prefer to almost have like a house like surrounded by like all of the things that you have thought up until this point were Agramon.
Or just like everybody in there slaughtered except Aphrodite, Zeb, Katie standing there with her husband, and then like you just see Jan just fade in.
Dude, I'm telling you. Like, we've already written the script, Harley.
Okay.
We'll send it to you.
We do it with every one of them. We've got your sequel.
Like, holy shit. I'm telling you.
We'll send that over.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really was a cliffhanger. Seeing Zeb on the ground, like at the.
Can we just hold on one second?
I feel like I'm about to like give the whole film away.
Yeah, let's just stop there.
Shit! Don't anybody watch the film? Just watch Brown Man Horror. It's great.
Right, Brown Man Horror, the Cliff's Notes of independent horror films.
Notes of independent horror.
Right,
you got it.
Let's go this route. We're gonna start with Jan. Jan, favorite scene that you shot for the film, and why it stands out to you.
The hospital scene when I start talking to Lorraine Landon, the mother, when I just appear in the chair and I eventually kill her. That's definitely my favorite scene.
Of course, that's Jan's favorite scene.
He's like, the scene where I slit Harley's throat. Jan, that wasn't in the film. And he appears in the mirror behind Harley.
He's like, I just filmed that myself.
Yeah.
Shit.
No, I mean, the main reason was in that scene though. He gave me a lot of time.
Yeah.
To just like sat in the chair. I sat in the chair for like 20 minutes before to try to feel the character and just really get into the character and his mindset. And it was a lot of ad lib on that. It was I stayed to the lines, but Harley as a director gives you a lot of free. So I just felt like all of this on particular scene I felt 110% like Carter or like Agramon, whatever you want to call it. Whatever I appeared to be as the character, I that in that scene more than ever, I think. So.
Yep. So, Katie, what do you think was your favorite scene? Obviously, you had multiple standout points. I think.
Well, Katie was scared to death the entire filmmaking process.
Yeah.
Right. So
what was your
like
when you stepped out from behind the director's chair long enough to film your scenes? What was the favorite scene for you to be in?
For me.
No, for Katie first.
For me, mine actually is my hospital scene with Maureen. I don't know what it is, but there was like a really good synergy and energy. And when we were filming that, like everyone,
I had goosebumps. So I'm like, I came out when I go cut, and then I walked up and I'm like, see this?
I think what was cool, and I mentioned it earlier. Yeah, what I thought was cool about that scene was the nurse character. Like she really like was the epitome of cool, calm, and collected, right?
Yeah.
Like she didn't
So-
give like she did, you know, normally when you have standoff scenes like that, you always have one person in the scene who can't stay with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think in that scene, all three people in the scene kept it going really
They kept
well.
it going great. There's a great film that was directed by Brian Bertino. He did Strangers,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but he also
Okay.
did a film that's came out recently called what was it called? The Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah,
I had to
yeah.
look at my collection.
Oh,
Yep.
I want to see that. Is it good?
Harley, you have to watch this
Yep.
because what your scene did reminded me of what I watched in his film. The nurse character, when she starts kind of like humming the hymnal
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and helping her and stuff, that there's something about a caregiver humming a spiritual hymnal,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of the evil stuff going on and the stuff like that sets this mood where you can
Yeah.
just feel something's about
Well,
to happen.
it's
Yeah.
always too like how you feel like you almost feel like the caregiver can't be touched
right.
in every film,
Yeah.
especially if they're
She's
that,
like it's like the virgin
Yes.
final
Yep.
girl.
Yep.
That's
It's-
exactly it.
It's very the reaping. It's very like
Yeah.
just this is purity at its best form,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
You know, you almost want to see a nurse in white scrubs every time.
because I'll tell you what,
that's-
Jan by God wanted to get that nurse.
he was going to kill her, right? Like, I mean, had we let the scene last any longer, the nurse is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Jan would have had another tick on his list.
Yes.
Okay. Harley, you're up. Favorite film to shoot, or sorry, favorite scene to shoot from the film and why?
I gotta say the favorite to shoot was Jan, the scene that Jan was talking about, because that was so electric, and it's funny because I don't know how much you know about Laureen, but she was in Airplane, and like
Uh-huh.
she's
Yep.
played a lot of films that are not, and to see her be that strong of a dramatic actress.
Yeah.
What character was she in Airplane?
Bro, did you not IMDb anybody?
No, I watched the film and that's it. I did no background study.
Oh my God. So this is why
I think
JC
she's in
is here.
Airplane too.
The sequel.
No, hold on. So this is her. Okay. First off, Lorraine.
Shout
Great
out to
character in this film, by the way. I love Lorraine's headshot
Him
on
is me.
IMDb.
He is him.
She's got like the
Yeah.
Loved it.
She's got this the like what was the
I know who you're talking about. I know exactly who you're talking about without even thinking. She reminds me of, I think it's Leslie Easterbrook from Police Academy.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yeah, I
She
see
was-
that actually.
She was also in Devil's Rejects
Devil's
as Mother
Rejects
Firefly.
as Mother Firefly. Yes.
That Rob Zombie Halloween. She's got it.
So
Yeah.
so Lorraine was in
All
Maniac
kinds.
Cop. She was in Maniac Cop.
Yeah.
She was in what?
Airplane 2, the sequel.
Airplane
There you
2.
go.
Yeah.
Roller Boogie.
Roller
okay?
Boogie.
Yeah.
Scoring. And it doesn't mean soccer or table tennis.
Right.
She was in Days of Our Lives.
Jan.
Jan. Did you guys meet on? No, that was Young and Restless. What
Right.
are you in, Jan?
Young and the Restless.
Yeah, all right. Never mind. I'm sorry.
Jan and Lorraine talk shop many a time.
They're
on
like,
Days for Daytime
so
TV.
how would I do this if I was on a soap opera versus how would I do this in a horror film?
Jan's like,
Everyone dies.
Jan's like, Lorraine, I'm about to kill you. Can you do it a little more like Days of Our Lives here, okay?
He's like, but on Days of Our Lives, you live, right? Like every character on Days of Our Lives is immortal. Okay, so there's that. But yeah,
That's probably
I mean,
true.
Oh gosh.
she did such a great job. I thought that
Yeah.
she was a great character. I definitely thought about Mother Firefly. I definitely when I saw the headshot though, which JC's going to throw up on the screen during our actual live portion of this that goes on YouTube because it's fantastic. Every horror person's going to be like, "Oh my God, it's her."
I mean,
Yeah.
for sure,
I wanted her
Jan,
to be
Jan and Kevin
mysterious.
Sorbo are gonna be right here.
Oh yeah,
Right.
John and Kevin Sorbo side by side. We're gonna do a poll where it's like, should Jan have gotten that part? Everybody's gonna vote for you, Jan, because they're terrified of you, and they want us to live.
Could Jan kick Kevin Sorbo's ass? And we already know the answer is yes.
Right, exactly. Just accent alone kills it. So, I mean, I think
I got a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
From some notes here. And you guys, this is input from all you guys. Let's see. This has got, so this hit home a little bit, this film did. In a way. I don't know if I've ever told you this, but check this out. My mother decided that she was gonna play around with a Ouija board once.
Oh.
Yeah. And her roommate at the time, they lived with us and stuff. And I remember here's the creepy part. I grew up on horror films, so I'm snooping around in her room, right? And I found the Ouija board, and inside the Ouija board is her notepad with the notes from all the times that they've used it.
From the Ouija-ing?
Yes, exactly. Okay. And then like you see just words written down like burned. Son of a bitch.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
Wow.
She was talking about
that kid. Stuff
You.
like that. No. Listen.
Me.
Listen.
Was it
at the
him?
time.
So I asked my mom about this, and she's like, yeah, we were playing with it, and that's some of the things that came out. And she's like, yeah, that's when you started seeing the man at the top of the stairs. And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah. She's like, I saw him too. She's like, you used to tell me all the time about this man at the top of the stairs, and that was him.
Oh.
That was
Agramon's Gate 2.
Yeah.
Right. Top of the stairs. And it's Jan. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
One more story, and then I'm going to ask a question based off of what we're talking about here to all of you. We had I'm sure we're all familiar with ventriloquist dummies.
Oh gosh.
So my grandmother picks up this ventriloquist dummy, right?
Wow.
And it's creepy as hell. It's in a tuxedo,
Oh, yeah. Can you handle this?
It's like Toy
I'll be
Story
honest.
4.
She can
like-
barely. I can't even take the cover out to what.
Katie,
she can't even watch
I'm going to
it.
need you to calm down just a little bit. Okay.
Katie, don't worry about this. This is a true story. Okay. So
All right. You have nothing to worry about here. Don't look under the bed.
right.
Come on.
So this ventriloquist dummy used to be upstairs in my room.
Oh, the fuck
Oh.
it would. I feel like, hey,
Listen.
Mom, I love you.
Listen to this, okay?
Okay, tell me.
So
about
this one time, it's off that my mother is home alone, and it's upstairs in my room. That's where we kept it, with a bunch of other junk. And I come home from school one day, and it's sitting downstairs.
it.
And I was like, well, my mother's a hustler for sure, straight up hustler. She used to buy and sell all kinds of stuff. And I was like, oh, I guess you're getting ready to sell that? Somebody coming by to get it? She goes, no. I came in from the kitchen, and it was just down here.
The fuck?
So when people see like a spider in their house, and then like it goes to the next picture, and it's just burnt down to the ground? That's the way
Yeah.
that we felt.
I can imagine.
Ouija.
Wow.
Exactly. So my question is, obviously this is filmmaking, this is fun, this is, a great process and stuff like that. But with the material that we're talking about here, have any of you experienced anything crazy like that?
Yes.
Well, Mr. Harley, we'll start with you.
Well, so long before any of this stuff, this is me, young whippersnapper, home in Sweden. My aunt passed away, and at the time I was living in a apartment complex in downtown Malmö, and a few days after her death, I'm laying in my bed and I hear something above me, and the only thing that's above me is the laundry room, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. There's nobody doing laundry, and then I started listening to the sound because it sounded like somebody was dragging something, and I was thinking somebody was dragging their laundry, and I hear something walk around above me, and there's a wall. The sound should end here. And I heard the sound go in a circle around me, physically impossible. So now I like kind of freaking out a little bit. So I grab a flashlight, I go out, I go up, and I'm looking, nothing there. And I've been laying there listening and checking this thing out for like probably 20 minutes before I even walked up. And then the next day we go to my aunt's grave with my parents and everything else. And her Blockbuster movie card was sticking up out of the dirt in the grave. And I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Like, and he was like, I should make films because my aunt really loves movies.
Yeah.
Dude.
I would ask Jan if he's ever had anything like this happen, but all ghosts are fucking scary.
Listen.
Jan has created many.
Sorry.
Jan's like, you guys don't have long enough of a podcast for me to talk about my stuff.
He's like, I woke up one night, there was a ghost. I whooped its ass, and then like I ain't heard hiding or hair of that ghost since. I sleep like a baby. It's the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
All right.
We'll get to Jan in a second because I'm sure Jan has a story. If Jan doesn't have a story,
I'll make one up.
He's gonna make one up. Yeah, exactly.
Yep, I got it.
Katie.
Oh,
Katie,
you want to hear mine?
I want to hear yours,
Why
Katie.
are you terrified of horror everything?
Oh gosh. Okay, so oh man, I went to a house party once that probably like 19, 20 years old. So there's probably a good, 20,
Just like
25 people.
Slumber party massacre.
No,
Slumber party massacre.
It was a house party. Well, somebody brought a Ouija board, but nobody knew how to talk with this thing. And I had before in the past. Now, I don't know like anybody at this party, only the person that I came with. Okay. I don't know any of
They
the
met
friends.
Captain Howdy that night.
So
damn right.
So the crazy thing happened. So I'm the one that's like, fine, all right, I'll talk on the Ouija board and I'll find out what's going on here. So, we're sitting in a circle, we're getting things going, and it starts moving, and come to find out there's a guy there, and the person that I was talking to was explaining two parents getting killed that were hung. They were they killed themselves. The father killed himself and killed the mother. There was like a thing going on. I'm like, holy shit, what is this? Just like talking to me on the board, and to come to find out it was actually one of the kids at the party's parents was killed this way. So he's like freaking out, you feel this presence here in the room. It was really creepy. And then you saw a floating thing, like a white little light off to the side. And that was when it was like, we're done. So we packed it up and moved on.
Now, Katie, you hadn't had, how many White Claws had you had this time?
Katie has drinking 26 White Claws, and she has...
I don't think White Claw.
She's had at least 4 bourbons.
She's had like 10 fingers of bourbon at this point.
Yeah. 4 fingers of Glenlivet and a whole bottle of Jack.
So here's the reason why we're bringing this up. And, I feel like, and we'll get to Jan's story because Jan is like, dude, I got
chomping
one.
at the bit.
Jan's like, you guys will shut this computer down when you
actually,
you guys hear mine.
Come out of the screen, and it's terrifying.
Wes Craven, speaking of, his whole big thing was, the stuff that we were afraid of, that's what he makes a movie about. That's what we bring to light.
Yep.
Whether it be nightmares, whether it be, afraid of what's in the basement or potentially under the stairs, what have you, right?
Yep.
And that's a lot of people are like, I don't watch horror movies. I don't allow that stuff in my house. I don't want that stuff near me. I don't want to open any doors. But the way that I look at it when it's on film, I get to see that, and I'm like, good overcomes evil, good triumphs. That is, I experienced that through film, and that's kind of like the outlet to not kind of be afraid of that as far as, in everyday life.
Yeah.
Not to say that I don't feel things in reality, when things are bad, I feel it. But it's about expressing the things that we're afraid of through film. And I think that Eric Agramon's Gate really did that. Because you had everyday people trying to have some fun, trying to liven up a party, have a seance, and then, sometimes you fool around with stuff
that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't, but then you have to be responsible and you have to do what's asked of you, and you have to take care of it.
Yeah.
So with that, let's get to Jan's story of the supernatural.
Well, first I want to mention something about Wes, because you brought up Wes. I don't know if you're aware of it, but all movies until Scream, he dreamed. Wes never wrote a script until he dreamed it first. So that's why how Freddy, then Nightmare on Elm Street, was created, because it was his own dreams. The People Under the Stairs was actually a true story from the 70s in Santa Monica, California, of a sister and brother slumlords who kidnapped babies. And it was in the 70s, and he wrote the news story, and he read the news story way back when, but he didn't actually dream something that could work on screen until late 80s, and then he wrote the screenplay. But that was about Wes. So that's, he was outside, he was the most sweetest, most heartwarming person, but his dreams was
what's crazy
completely different way.
is I'm a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan. Probably, if I had to think about films that are mainstream, it is definitely my favorite. And I'm a part one guy. Like, I loved Scream part one. I love Nightmare on Elm Street part one. What's even crazier is, I don't talk about this much. I was in the high school marching band, which is...
I wouldn't talk about it much either.
It's terrifying to me as well. But he made Music of the Heart. Wes Craven did. Meryl Streep, one of her greatest films.
Well, she went on later to be the Devil Wears Prada.
Correct. She did. She is the devil.
Right.
She's actually the devil.
That's all.
Yeah, death becomes her.
Katie knows what I'm talking about.
But anyway, I am a huge Wes Craven fan. That's probably like my two big films. I love those films, and he definitely had a way of making you feel like everything could happen. Like, I think one thing about Scream that stood out to me, or even Nightmare on Elm Street, was, I felt like those things could happen in my mind. Like, when you get to the end of Scream 1 and it's your two best friends, it's the boyfriend and the best friend, you're like, shit, like, that could have happened. Like, easily. Like, it didn't take no damn.
I'm only one beer in, and I'm going to start quoting Scream quotes.
Oh, my God.
Okay?
Live her alone.
Live her alone.
Anyway, anyways. All right, Jan, keep going. You're good.
Yeah, so anyway, paranormal experiences. I have quite a few, but one that comes to mind, Harley brought up Sweden. I can bring one Swedish one up. I was actually sleeping over at the Borgholm Castle ruin, one of the two islands of Sweden, which, it's quite an old one. Yes, it is. Yeah, I was gone.
Did he say castle?
I think Jan said castle. And I'm like, of
course
Jan was in a castle.
I could see him laying in his bed with a sword.
No, I was not ready a bed.
Like, gun, gun, gun. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I know. I was sleeping on there. Actually, they have concerts there now. So I was actually way back when I was, helping out, playing more of like a bouncer on the concerts, and they had me sleep over to watch the instruments overnight because they didn't move them. And actually, in the middle of the night, I started hearing this noise, and I heard the horses going, and then I heard all kinds of sword fighting and stuff, but there was nobody there. And I think I experienced a full-blown battle in the castle room. I'm not kidding you.
Of course he did.
Did he say horses and swords?
Horses, swords in a castle.
But he said he was a bouncer at a freaking concert. Jan, you're terrifying.
Listen,
I have more if you want, but
please no.
Please no. That's
I'm terrified,
enough,
Jan. Damn it.
I've got to sleep tonight, Jan.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Okay, so we could go on and on about
independent though.
Let's
go where we're supposed to go.
This is let's dive this to the end where we wanted to get to, where we always eventually go in these behind the horror scenes. We could talk all day about Agramon's Gate.
Yeah, absolutely.
About how phenomenal it was, how we enjoyed it, how we wrote part 2, and we're going to send it over to Harley.
Yep, absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
Can't wait.
Right. Here's where we get to in these interviews, and this is how we conclude. Our mission is to bring more filmmaking to the city of Nashville, preferably horror, but we'll take whatever we can get.
Yeah.
We're looking to support independent filmmakers. We're looking to promote them. We're looking to do whatever we can to help them to get their visions and get their projects out. Because just because you're in an independent film, the word film is in it. You are in a film. And as Tony Fidel, who we interviewed first and foremost with Dead Again, he said when you're in a film, well, other than Jan, he's immortal anyway. But when you're in a film, you are immortalized.
Yep, I think it's great that we focus on that a lot. And you know, one of the things that we keep throwing out there, and Harley, we definitely want you to be involved as well. And we talked to the directors about this. Is that stay tuned for Brown Mint Horror Project Greenlight 2.0.
Something of that nature.
We're not Matt Damon and we're not Ben Affleck, but we're definitely going to be trying to hook up with independent filmmakers who are trying to get a story out there, and we want people to see that. We want people to see how their hard work can come to fruition, put it on film, immortalize these people who deserve it.
And we are actually in the process. It has begun. Brown Mint Horror has, I mean, you got to start somewhere, but we have started our first horror script.
Yay,
and
cool.
You got to start somewhere, right?
Agramon's Gate Part 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Absolutely.
Carter's Revenge.
Right. We're definitely, we're definitely film lovers first and foremost. We just love film. We love the way that, one of the things that JC said that hit home for me the most is like I pull a DVD off the shelf, or I pull even a CD or a VHS or whatever. I pull those things off the shelf and I put them in a player, and I think to myself, like, somebody worked their ass off to make this happen.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just happen in a day. Some independent films happen in 3 days.
Like That Again.
But,
shout out to Stephen Smith.
Yeah, but we see these guys working hard and blood, sweat, and tears, putting it out there, and we appreciate the value of physical, copies and physical DVDs, movies, VHS, and we just really appreciate that. And so, going into the last segment of this is that if you had something to say, Jan, we'll start with you. Jan, if you had something to say to independent filmmakers, actors, actresses, what is the motivational Tony Robbins-esque speech you would give to our independent filmmakers out there?
Is that anybody can make it. I mean, it sounds like a cliche, but it's like, if you have the goal, you just don't ever give up, no matter what anybody tells you. It's the business of rejection. It's 99% rejection, as 1% yeses. And if you just know what you want and you go for it, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it made. You're gonna get it done. And if you can make it for very little money in the beginning, get it done. Do a short film. Do a short film. Do a low budget film. Raise some more money. Do something else. I mean, just do what you want to do.
Yep. Fantastic. Miss Kaiti, up and coming actresses here in Nashville. What's your Tony Robbins speech to them?
As far as acting, I would say make sure you go and find yourself a great acting coach and learn. Just don't stop learning. Just don't stop being a student to the craft. And that's because there's always room for growth as an actor. If you feel like you haven't been able to maybe move, you're on a plateau of some kind, it's good to get yourself out there and really expand it, because I think especially with acting, it's reading in between the lines, and I'm sure like Harley can say it, Jan can say it, but every character is different, you know. The soul that you put in that, you can see it through the eyes. It's there. You can tell when somebody's not being true to themselves and in the character, you know. So it's definitely good to get an acting coach.
You know, I think before I go to Harley, I think one of the things that I think about when I think about people coming up and kind of getting into film is that, you know, we chirp at Jan about Young and Restless, or Lorraine about Days of Our Lives. But, you know, honestly, one of the things that we look at is that there's no role that's that small. Right. I mean, in Scream, one of my favorite scenes is Matthew Lillard, obviously, who is hilarious. Yeah. And they're giving this speech about all the horror background in front of the TV. And Matthew Lillard's about to back out of the room and say, "I'll be right back."
Yeah, he goes, "Hey, you want a beer?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And then he's like, "I'll be right back."
But the guy on the couch who basically chimes in about every 20 seconds, who is making fun of Jamie Kennedy doing the speech, is probably one of my favorite parts in the movie. He actually has like probably about 30 lines or 30 words in that sequence, but he's freaking hilarious. And he made that scene for me. I love that scene, and I remember Matthew Lillard and I remember Jamie Kennedy because their names are stamped on it forever. But that guy, who I have not a damn clue what his name is, he played that role. He filled his spot. And he will forever be known as the guy on the couch in the Scream movie that we don't know who the hell he is. But no role is too small. So, Harley, you know, throw it to us, man. What is a young director in Nashville to do when they just want to make a damn movie? Like, they don't have to make it. What do they do to make their movie? What do we got to do?
You know what? I think the cool thing about this is that what Jan said and what Kaiti said is you can start anywhere with anything. Where you are, there's something for you to do. The thing that I really feel is that anyone can start, but the thing is, if you really want to one day sit in a theater and have thousands of people watch your movie, then you have to keep growing and evolving. And there are so many ways in today's technology. When I started filmmaking, I was an actor, straight up actor. And I said, you know what? I'm the kind of actor who's been paying attention on set. I can probably do this. And I made a couple of short films. And I'm like, nope, not really. So I had to go back and do film school, but I did it online because I wanted to consume and learn fast. So there's no school that's going to go at my pace. So that's what I did. There's so much stuff out there, and you don't have to get 10th best. Like when I do the acting stuff for us, especially here at home, we have a DVD series with Sanford Meisner, an incredible acting coach. So we watched those 19 hours of him drilling their people, some of the best acting coaching in the world. So like this is the stuff that you can do. If you have the time, the drive, you can go on YouTube and look at rocketjump.com and you can learn how to be a filmmaker. There's so many ways that you can learn and grow. And when you look at the people that opened the doors and paved our way, they had to learn this from nuts and bolts and books and libraries. This is definitely the time. If you're interested and want to do this, this is the time.
Fantastic. And what was that site you mentioned?
Rocketjump.com. It's phenomenal. And the cool thing
you mentioned Meisner, and I know Laura Stepman and Rod Grant and those guys from what movie was our second movie?
The Connection.
The Connection. They all talked of Meisner as well.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, stands out the most is that, you guys, we're both in sales. That's what we do as our day job to promote what we're doing that we want to do for a living is this, you know, promote you guys and see you guys really get out there. And, you know, one of the things that Jan said even is that you're going to hear 99 no's to one yes. And one of the good things I tell my guys is that, you know, what is the most heard word as a child? You know, the word no. Mm-hmm. You hear it every single day growing up from 0 to 18 at least. And for me, I'm an only child, so I've heard it for 40 years.
And then you get married and you get even more.
Oh, hell yeah. My wife tells me no all the time. She's like, no, you can't jump off the roof. It's stupid. You know, you don't have wings. Exactly. Like, yes. And so, you know, to hear you guys promote it that way is definitely, you know, the right way to promote it. We're not telling you it's going to be easy. Mm-mm. We're not telling you it's going to be the cakewalk of life. You're not going to have your gold star on Hollywood Walk of Fame tomorrow. It's not going to happen that way.
Right.
But it's going to be worth it.
But it will be worth it. Like you said, you know, to immortalize yourself on a film and put yourself out there, that's something no one can take away from you. And, you know, you guys have done a great job.
Well, first off, they're not taking shit from Jan.
No.
Okay.
Jan has now stared a hole through my soul.
I mean,
he's like, I will not take my eyes off this camera. God, you can't make me.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
So, where we're at now, I think this is a great spot to end. We appreciate you guys so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Harley, for making this film. Katie, for your wonderful performance.
Thank you,
Jan,
guys.
God, just for being Jan.
Yeah.
Keep being you, Jan.
Jan 2021. Everybody stay put. Watch out.
Watch out for the year of Jan.
Right.
Jan and Yang.
Jan and Yang. Agramon's Gate 2.0. Shortly to come. Harley's already promised it. If he doesn't deliver now.
And you know his character Zeb, for our viewers, once you watch the film, you'll notice that Zeb probably has an eye for details.
Zed's dead.
Right.
No, Zeb.
Zeb.
I said Zed.
Zedediah.
Like Pulp Fiction. You know,
Zebediah.
Zed's dead.
Oh, yeah.
Zed's dead.
You don't know him a third.
Anyways,
anyway,
we're being
whatever.
dumb.
He doesn't like comedy. It's fine.
Gotcha. All right. This has been Brown Met Horror. Behind the Horror. Installment number 4.
4, baby. 4.
With Agramon's Gates, director and cast. Thank you guys so much.
Thank y'all.
We appreciate you, and can't wait to holler at you again. Be so great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
you. Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you. Good
See
night.
ya.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.